This is Nick with logosbynick.com, and in this tutorial I'll be demonstrating how you can create gradients or a transition between two different colors using Procreate for the iPad. Then I'll be showing you how you can apply that gradient to some text, as you see that I've done here on my screen. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to go back to the gallery. I'm going to open up a new document based on the screen size right there. And let me just zoom out a little bit. I like to be able to see the entire canvas when I'm working. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two separate layers, one for each color in the gradient. So let's work on the first color over here. I'm going to tap on the color menu in the top right corner, and I want to choose the first color for my gradient. So I'm going to use pink for this demonstration. Let me close out of the color menu, and then just take this little color circle at the top right and tap and drag that onto your canvas, and it's going to fill your layer with that color. So now let's go and create a new layer up here for the second color in the gradient. Tap the layers icon up here, and then the plus icon will create a new layer over there, as you can see there. So let's close out of that. Let's open up the color menu, and let's choose the second color for the gradient. For my example, I'll be using this yellowish orange shade, and I'm just going to tap and drag that onto the canvas like that. And as you can see, we have two separate layers, one for each color that we're going to use in our gradient. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the select tool up here. I want to make sure I have snapping enabled over here. And make sure you have these settings enabled in your snapping settings. If you don't, just go ahead and pause the video real quick and apply that. And I want to use uniform over here from these other settings. I just want to have uniform selected. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag, I'm going to tap and drag this layer down here until it snaps to the bottom half of the image like that. Okay? I'm actually going to put this at the top half. Let me put this to the top half because I want the lighter shade to be on the top side of the gradient and the darker shade to be on the bottom. And once you've done that, let's tap on the select tool to deselect that, and let's apply a Gaussian blur. So let's tap on the effects menu up here, select Gaussian blur. We're going to apply this to the layer. And now bring your stylus or your finger, or whatever it is that you're using, over to the left side of the screen, and then just tap and drag to the right like that to apply your gradient. And as you can see, we have created a gradient between those two colors. So let's deselect the effects menu. Let's come back over here to the layers menu and merge these two layers together so that we can actually work with this gradient. So let's tap on layer 2 right here till we get this little flyout menu, and I'm going to choose merge down. And as you can see, we now have a layer with that gradient applied to it. So let's actually put this gradient to use. So I'm going to create some text now and fill it with this gradient. So let me close out of the layers menu. I'm going to open up the color menu over here, and I'm going to choose white because I want to make this text white for now. Now I'm going to tap the wrench over here. Under add, look for where it says add text. Tap that. And then I'm just going to make the bounding box a little bigger so that it fills the entire canvas here. And for this, I'm going to write gradient. I'm going to change the font. Let me triple tap on the text, change the font up here, and for this I will be using Milkshake. This is a third-party font that I've installed, so you probably don't have this on your iPad. So you can use whatever font you'd like, though. This works regardless of the font. Let me make this a little bigger like that. There we go. I'm going to make this the size of the canvas. Tap done. Grab the select tool and move this over towards the center of the canvas, like that. Now we can tap on the select tool to deselect that. And now what I want to do is I want to fit the gradient to the text a little better. So let me come back over here to the layers menu. Let me select layer 1, which is where the gradient is located. Go back to the select tool, and again, make sure you have uniform chosen down here in the options. And I'm just going to scale this down. Or you know what? Let me undo that by tapping with 2 fingers. The setting that we want is freeform. So let me tap on freeform. And now I want to take this top edge and bring this down towards the top of the text like that. And I want to do the same thing down here, but let me just pinch to zoom out a little bit. I want to grab this handle down here and just bring that up like that. And there we go. That's what we're looking for right there. Now let's tap on the select tool to deselect that. Now what we want to do is we want to go back to our text layer and create a selection around that text. So let me open up the layers menu. Let me tap on the text, close out of that, hit return there. Close out of that. And now what I want to do is let's grab the selection menu. And for the selection, I want to choose automatic. We have all of these different options down here. We want to choose automatic and add. And I just want to tap on the word right there, the white area where it says the word gradient. Tap on that, and it's going to create a black selection around the continuous area that I just tapped. I also want to grab the dot over the eye, so I'm going to tap that as well. And now, as you can see here, I've created a black selection around the entire text. If your letters are spaced apart, you may have to tap each individual letter one by one. And once you've selected all of your text, just tap the button that says invert down here. We want to invert that selection. And now we can come back up here to our layers menu, turn off the visibility of the text layer by tapping that little box right there, and then select layer 1 where our gradient is. Close out of the layers menu and go to the wrench icon up here and tap on cut. And if we close out of that menu, you can see it cut out the area and left the text in there so that we have our gradient text. And if you want, what you could do now is, if you want to see this better, you can just turn off the visibility of the background layer like that. And as you can see, we are finished. We have created our gradient text using Procreate for the iPad. So if you have any questions, just leave a comment below. And as always, thanks for watching.